Hello guys, welcome back to the Try Time Podcast YouTube channel. I'm Callum.
And I'm Matt.
And welcome to the Championship Stadium tier list. Now, we have done we have done the Super League Stadium tier list, which is linked in the card at the top for you guys to go back and watch. Similar format here with the best in the league, elite, decent, meh, knock it down. We've got 14 teams to get through. It's all going to be the current stadiums. So in terms of Bradford, it's going to be at Odsal, as within this season they are going to be moving back to Odsal. Obviously fingers crossed for them. So that's what we're going to be judging them all on. And I reckon we just get straight into it because we've got a lot to get through. So first up, Widnes. Now I think this is a good one to start with, Widnes. What are you thinking?
Well, let's face it, this wasn't a bad ground when they were in Super League, was it? So it's definitely not a bad ground now.
Yeah, that's true. Because I guess we've got to judge it on like the Championship standards rather than in the Super League when it's obviously the Super League standards. So I think it's got to be quite high up then on this, personally.
Yeah, definitely. What are our categories again? I've forgotten in about 30 seconds since you said them.
We've got best in the league, which
Yeah,
we're only going to have one team up there, and then we've got elite, decent, meh, knock it down. For me, it's looking like an elite for Widnes.
Yeah, it's between elite and decent, but given some of the absolute dross that's going to come up in this list, I feel like it's got to go elite, really.
Yeah, I think it's got that bit of history is that they've been in it a good, sort of few years now, and it's actually like a decent stadium as well, and it's a good away day as well. I've been there a couple of times, so yeah, we'll lob it in elite. Widnes. There they go. They'll be happy with that.
Next team.
Yeah. Next team, we've got an interesting one actually, which is London, who obviously aren't at their own actual ground now, so it is an interesting one. What do you reckon?
Well, it's a nice ground, but it's not theirs, so I think on that principle it's got to go in meh.
Yeah,
I feel like it's something that we might have quite consistently with a couple of others here.
Yeah, I think if they'd have stayed back at where the Warren kind of kept the development there, I think I'm maybe pushing a decent, because they were building something that were decent there, but yeah, with it moving into this separate thing, there's a similar situation with Sheffield, which we'll get on, so I think you can't really look much past a meh. So yeah, we'll lob London in a meh.
Well, do we have else to say on Sheffield, or shall we just put them in meh now?
I reckon it's a similar situation. I do really like the Doncaster Stadium. And
so do I.
If we were doing a League One tier list, which we may get on to do, I would be putting it higher up for Doncaster.
If we get into if we do a League One tier list, it's going to be basically if you have a stand at all, you're going to be in elite category. I feel like half of these are playing on fields that they have to turf the sheep off before every match.
Oh god. So are we saying Sheffield's meh then, yeah?
Yeah, just whack that in there as well.
Yeah. Sheffield can be better. Similar sort of situation, really.
I mean, it's better than Olympic Legacy Park, because that was god awful.
Yeah, I remember an away day there, and that is literally you stood literally.
That is the definition of a field that you have to chuck some sheep off of before the game starts. I'm surprised rugby ball don't come up with poo balls.
Yeah, decent burger though.
Good to know.
Right. Next up, Whitehaven. Now this is an interesting one. It's a quality away day, but if you look at the ground, realistically it is small, sort of run down. But I think the culture, the history is there. Meaning, personally, I don't know if I wouldn't knock it down. But what are you thinking with it?
Well, let's be honest, it's a dump, isn't it?
It's the only difference dump.
Is it's a traditional, rather picturesque dump, but it is still a dump. Now, given there are some less traditional, less picturesque dumps in this place, I don't think it really belongs in the bottom category.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a meh.
Yeah, I think the history helps weigh it up, and like I say, I mean, I've been to pretty much, give or take, maybe like Toulouse or like the New York Stadium. I've been to all of these on away days, and they're all good away days. But you mean, if you've got a good fan base travelling, which Bradford tend to do, then you're always gonna get a good atmosphere wherever you go. But I do like a long trip up to Whitehaven as well. I think it is worth it, and I would advise it for fans if you're thinking about going, because it's a good experience. But yeah, I think meh probably is about right. No offence, Whitehaven fans. If you watch,
I won't mind too much.
Next up is another interesting one actually, similar vein to Widnes maybe. Newcastle. I think this is an interesting one. Another one I've been to.
I don't even know where they play. You talk, I'll Google.
Newcastle, obviously you've got if you're from your general, normal, sort of on the M62 sort of fan, which a lot of people will be, travelling up to Newcastle is a long way, but I would 100% say it is worth it. The pitch, obviously, it's a good. I've actually played on the pitch as well. The pitch is, your classic AstroTurf pitch. Maybe not ideal, but in terms of the stadium, it's modernised. It's all like kind of sort of covered. You could fit You could fit a decent bit of fans in there. I think if you're in Super League, it'd be one of them that's nice to watch on Sky. I think it's got that kind of like Friday night match kind of feel to it.
Do you know what it looks like? It looks like the AJ Bell, but actually a complete stadium rather than just one stand.
Yeah, but for me, I think it's like a nice modern stadium, and I would be tempted to be sticking it in elite as well, because I think it goes hand in hand with the good work Newcastle are doing, to try and grow, grow a club from the ground up and grow like a real culture up in Newcastle and grow the game, and I think the stadium is a part of that, definitely. So I mean, for me, I'm thinking it's up there, maybe with
put that in elite. I like that.
Yeah, elite. I like it. It's kind of got that modern tinge to it. It's similar to Widnes, really. It is similar.
It's Widnes, but with a Geordie accent. Right, next.
Next up's your favourite. We've got the Post Office Road, Featherstone Rovers.
Oh, I do like that elite ground.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I would honestly, I agree with you on that elite sort of status up with it. We'll get it up there.
Look, it's got the same rundown traditional quality that Castleford has, except the difference is you can't have a go at me for saying this one's elite, because there's some absolute shitholes in this division, a lot more than there is in Super League. So it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. Therefore, it's actually staying in elite, and yeah, I'm not accepting anything less.
Plus, I argue this stadium, like in terms of how many seated stands and stuff it's got, and like that sort of general thing about it, it's actually, obviously it's got the tradition there, the history, the rich history that comes with the club, but it also has got like a modern tinge on it as well. Like it holds up well. You can go to an away day there, and bar the one end where you do have to kind of like stand on the like sort of steps, which is essentially just like a normal terracing, really, like similar sort of thing that you'd get.
Yeah, but is that any worse than going? I'm going to say, is that any worse than being an away fan at Leeds?
Oh no, that's
or
exactly
being any fan at Wakefield.
Oh yeah, oh definitely, and that's why I'm saying it essentially is. Other than that, you'd look at it and it's like the seated stands and stuff. It holds a decent atmosphere.
Are we in agreement this is elite?
Yeah, it's already banged in elite, mate.
Let's just put it in elite.
Next up's a contentious one, close to my heart.
God.
We've got Bradford and Odsal, and a lot of people, I think.
Well, before we start, you're actually homeless at this point until May, so let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, but obviously, in terms of Odsal, some little improvements have been made, kind of like clean it up, make it more.
Not necessarily needed it.
Not necessarily safe, but more not modern, because they're not like doing anything drastic, but just the little things that will make it, when you're there, you're like, oh, that looks a bit nice. It don't look as, I think it's not going to look as run down. Obviously, that is because obviously the Speedway, that sort of thing is coming back to Odsal. They've sort of put a bit of money into it and that sort of thing. But for me, I think a lot of people would have said, oh, look at it, knock it down, it's freezing when you go to a away game there or whatever. But I think you can't really ignore the history that has come with that ground. Like, you go back 20 odd years, it's one of the best grounds. It's just, it kind of hasn't grown. A lot of other teams, for example, Leeds or Headingley, they've kind of built on it and modernised it that way. Certain other teams have, gone to new grounds, built different grounds, more modern that way. And I think Bradford are kind of stuck in a bit of a limbo with it, obviously because of the financial troubles, and obviously that's why we're down in Championship and everything like that. But I think there's definitely some history there. And personally, obviously I've got a bit of bias towards it, but I do like Odsal in general anyway. But I don't know your views.
Really, I couldn't tell because you've not shut up about it for 5 minutes now. You're worse than me ranting about Leeds.
But what do you reckon? Go on. Where would you put it?
Well, to be quite honest, until it hosts another rugby match again to see whether it still looks like a pile of rubble dumped around some grass, I think it can go in net, really. Or decent at a push.
Yeah, I'm going to push for it to go in decent, just because I think the history there can carry it up.
Go on, I'll take your word that they've actually bought some better quality Dulux this time and put it in decent.
At least we have hot running water at all times, you know. Some Super League clubs can't say that.
No, that's true. Well, will there be a Super League club next year? If you don't already know who we're on about, then click the card from earlier. Although I'm sure you can probably guess which club it is.
We have spoke about it extensively on podcast.
Yes.
Right. Next up, another interesting one. We've got Batley, which is, you know, another classic rugby league ground. It's quality.
This is another shed, isn't it?
But it's quality though, mate. One of them grounds that just holds its atmosphere.
It's a good quality shed, but it is a shed.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's not a knock. This Batley cannot be the knock it down. I think.
I agree.
That and Dewsbury, I think, come under a similar sort of situation.
I actually think Dewsbury's better because it's more modern.
Yeah, I do, but I also think Batley's got that bit more history with it. It's got that bit more of an aura about it. You know, you go up there, you know it's going to be an hard game. It's got the classic hill. When I think traditional rugby league ground, I think Batley Bulldogs. Do you know what I mean? I think. Where are you thinking if you were to place it anywhere?
It's between decent and meh, depending on how highly we rate the atmosphere. To be fair, it's no less sheddy than half the other grounds in this, so we'll give it a decent. Why not?
Yeah, I think it's got that. Like I say, I think it's got that extra bit of aura about it, if you know what I mean. Next up,
while we mentioned before on Dewsbury, I'm going to interject and make them next either way.
They were next anyway, mate. I was about to say we'll move.
It's almost as if I'm psychic or knew the script. Yeah, Dewsbury's also got to go in decent, really. It's a nice little modern ground, and to be quite honest, it probably was a bit classier than Odsal last season for the one game you played there.
Yeah, honestly, as a home, going there and sort of sitting down as a home fan, I actually do really enjoy how close you feel to the pitch, and so I do think it's a decent ground, and obviously I've been there in away games as well, and I like it.
Yeah, but everywhere you're close to pitch compared to a bloody speedway track. It's like watching football at West Ham's ground.
Yeah, I do get that as well. Right, next up, Oldham.
Well, this is for me the knock it down of the championship. This is just an ugly shed, isn't it, really?
I genuinely think the knock it down is going to come to... for me anyway, it's going to come down to my experiences, because there's two clubs left that I think are up for the knock it down. Obviously, Oldham and Swinton. And I think if I'm talking about Swinton, I'm talking about one of the best away games that you'll go to.
Can we just point out we can't criticise Swinton, otherwise we won't get a free caravan.
Oh, okay. But Swinton's ground is great for away fans, because you're along the side, you're under you're under a shed. There's 5 rows up or whatever.
There's a danger that your car's gonna get hit by a kicker.
Yeah. It's you're proper that you're essentially sat in dugouts with players who are on subs bench. They're literally stood other side of a railing, but it's got a proper classic feel to it. And I do like the stadium anyway.
That's kind of the same as Wakefield, isn't it? When we kept being blocked by blooming Levi and Zongu warming up, and his massive frame just like a bloody eclipse.
Yeah. But I do really like it because you're just that close and you're packed in that close. I do like that. Obviously, that we're on about Oldham originally, and I do like Oldham as well. I like the positioning of Oldham. But Oldham's one of them where you rock up, you go through gates at way end. There's a couple of guys stood there. There's a table and they're selling cans of dark fruits for £3 or whatever, and you just think, is it time to knock it down? Do you know what I mean? But.
Well, I mean, I feel like this is largely just describing the town of Oldham, really, but...
Are we knocking Oldham down?
The place or just the ground? Because I think either's acceptable.
I'll put the ground up there, although I do know, that is quite hard done by... I wouldn't knock it down I wouldn't knock any of these down, is what I'm saying. But, where do you want to... Whilst we're on Swinton, where do you want to put Swinton?
I think they can only really get a meh.
Yeah, I'll give it a meh. The away day pulls it.
Actually, I've changed my mind. I mean, this doesn't affect knocking down the ground, but we'll leave Oldham standing. I'd rather knock Rochdale down as a place.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, we'll have to get onto League One tier list, mate, for that. Right.
God help us.
We've got 3 big hitters next, and they're still the best in the league up there. So next up, we're going with York, and obviously their new stadium.
I'm going to say the best in the league is no longer up there.
yeah, I'm going to agree. Let's get York at best in the league, generally. And people say
this is the most obvious one of the lot. It's head and shoulders ahead of everything else in the Championship. And let's be honest, half of the Super League is basically the small all-seater version of Headingley.
It is a quality ground. People will say, oh, but it doesn't have the history some of these other clubs do. Yeah, it doesn't, but it's got a modern twist on it, and they'll create their own history there.
York are making history, and they're doing it there. And that's knowing that this is going to be the history of the future doesn't detract from the fact it's not got it right now, because it will have it in 10, 20, 30, 50 years.
100%, mate. Honestly, I am a... I'm a big fan of this York team, and I can't wait to get there, you know, on an away game, that sort of thing. I know you sort of want to go over there as well and get.
It's on my rugby league bucket list, yeah.
So I think it'll be one of them which will become an instant classic, and I think realistically within 5 years York are looking to be in Super League, and I think it'll be one of them that will be a good one for Super League eventually. So I think best in the league is fair enough. I think for York.
Well, it's better than Wakefield.
Well, yeah, well, that's not hard. I think half of stadiums on this list are better than Wakefield.
I think Oldham's probably better than Wakefield, and we're knocking that down.
Right. Next up, we've got the Panthers, the Halifax Panthers.
Oh yes, the newly franchised club. Americanised club, I should say. I do like the shape. I think it's a really nice ground. I'm actually going to say that's probably... Is it decent or is it elite?
I know, I'm having this question. I like it.
I think we go elite. We've not given that many elite today. Let's be nice, because for a championship ground, it's bloody lovely.
Yeah, We'll go elite. I'll go with it. Although once I think Halifax must have tweeted something about, the atmosphere at today's game was electric. You fans were amazing, and had put a picture of like all Bradford fans in away end, thinking that were like their home fans. That was a few years ago. I remember there were a lot going around.
Well, I gathered it won this or last season.
Well, no, obviously not.
Otherwise, that would have been a gaff.
Right, last and not least, we've got our French friends, Toulouse, who, obviously, this is probably the only one.
I'll be honest, I basically know sod all about this ground, but it looks alright. It kind of looks like the small version of the Allianz, so let's just... I'm saying this, I hope this isn't the rugby union ground I've been looking at, because that's also distinctly possible.
Oh, I know from obviously watching games sort of on telly or over here that I've been there, as well as sort of accounts of people like that I know who have gone there on away games, and they do really. They're like, it seems to be likened to kind of a Catalans sort of vibe there. I think the fact you're abroad and stuff does kind of give it up a few points. I don't think it's anything mega elite level, because I don't think it's that sort of well done of a ground.
Shall we say it's decent?
I reckon we lob it in decent, to be fair.
I mean, I don't really think we're going to get many angry French fans shouting at us if we've got Toulouse slightly wrong.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, look at our analytics. We're not exactly big in France at this point. In fact, we have more views in Papua New Guinea than France?
Probably, mate, yeah. It's probably a language barrier, though, isn't it? Right, anyway, that is it, guys.
SI, there we go.
You can see on screen, guys, that is our final tier list. Who have we got wrong? Who have we got right? Who would you knock it down? Who's the best in the league? Let us know. And like we said at the start, go check out a Super League tier list. And if you want a League One tier list... I feel like we've been knocked down at this point. If you want a League One tier list, let us know in the comments. And check out all the content on YouTube channel, all the main podcasts, that sort of thing. And yeah, guys, thanks for your support. Any feedback would be appreciated. And
follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, Matt will be pushing his Twitter that he just doesn't tweet on, even though he says he's going to do.
I mean, you also have access to this account and have done basically sod all in tweet-wise, other than sharing the actual YouTube videos, so don't come at me with that one. At least I've put some posts on and made an effort. Yeah, well, follow us on there and we'll get going with that, guys. And we'll catch you later. See you later. Bye.